Hey y'all, it's me. This morning I am in the upper garden. Let me show you what it consists of. This is where Hugh has his bean rows, and we have our corn, and in between the corn and the beans there's the potatoes. That back there is part of the garden from last year that we just didn't clean out because we didn't need the extra space. Probably should have gotten rid of the weeds, and I probably will get rid of the weeds before they start making new ones. And this is just a section of garden that I have planted over the last couple weeks. I've shown you some of these things. The tomatoes are finally beginning to look like they're going to, survive. I was not sure. And then we have, of course, all the sunflowers down through there, and we have, well, my mind always goes zinnias. I don't know why I cannot remember that. And the little peppers, I think the little peppers are going to survive. These peppers over here are surviving, but they're just little bitty and progressing slowly. But this morning, I am going to fertilize the beans. That's something that we typically never do because we get enough out of the beans, and I'm using this organic fish stuff. But that's something we never do because we always get enough beans to get our family through. But this year Hugh's selling them a little bit, and so I want them to continue producing, hopefully up until the harvest. Or up until harvest, my mind went sideways. Up until the frost. So you can see my little gravity feed jug. I'm going to fill all these jugs down here up. And I just thought I would chat with y'all while I'm just hanging out up here waiting on these things to fill. You can see our roof, our new roof. I'm so pleased with it. It's just nice to have a roof now that we don't have to worry about leaking, because there were some spots. Hugh had made some repairs over the past year or two. Actually over the past probably 10 years, because there had been some spots that had leaked. He had repaired them for his mom. But it was time. So we this past winter and spring we had more shingles blow off in some heavy windstorms. So there was just all kinds of opportunities for leaks. But yay, that's a big one. That's a big job right there that we won't have to worry about now for 30 or 40 years. It'll be Aaron's job next. And that's just what's happening today. Hugh and I have a funeral to attend, and it makes us really sad. It's a valley son. It's one of our children here in the valley. He's a grown man. He is 50 years old. He and his girlfriend were killed on a motorcycle last week. And but a family friend. So we'll be going to that at 1 o'clock today. And y'all have been through it, understand, just the sadness of going to a funeral of someone who had lost their life too soon. Chelsea rides a motorcycle, and I worry about her all the time. But, she says, "Mom, while I'm alive, I want to live." And I guess that's just the way we have to look at it. Every person has to choose for themselves what's important, what makes them happy, what's worth the risk. And if it's something that they enjoy so much, and she's told me, she says, when I'm on a motorcycle and it's just like I can let all the thoughts of everything just go, and I can just be there, just enjoying the wind and the scenery, and just feeling more free than I am at any other point in my life. And I can accept that. I mean, we all worry about our kids, right? And I don't suppose that ends at any certain age. I know that, my mom was 90 when she passed, and I have sisters that are 11 and 13 years older than me, and I don't think she had ever stopped worrying about even them. So it's just part of being a mom, y'all. Part of being an aunt, part of being a sister, a cousin, a friend, whatever we are in relation to the children that we love. That's just part of it. But anyway, this could be a really boring video for y'all if you stick around while I fertilize these beans. Oh gracious! I am really pleased though with the nasturtiums. Not nasturtiums. I do have some nasturtiums down there on the end. Zinnias. I just keep forgetting what these things are called. They're zinnias. The zinnias down in the lower garden are beautiful. I'll have to make a vase. I'll make a vase in the next week and do a little short so you guys can see the vase. But the zinnias are gorgeous. I have some that are pink and kind of a lime green. They're just fabulous. And that little guy right there, hold on a minute, let me see, I guess I can get that to stick in there, hopefully not turn the jug over. All right, prop it up. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll lean it. There you go. I've leaned it so that it can fill. I don't have to stand and hold it. But I noticed there's some little guys growing. And there they are. There's a couple in there. And I'm not sure what they are because this is a volunteer. And I just left it just because most of the time, I don't know what your experience is as gardeners, but most of the time a volunteer squash is typically not edible. We've had some volunteers that have had thorns on the fruit itself. So I'm not sure what that will be, but just for the fun of it, I thought I'd leave it and let it do its thing. And I'll show it to you when it's done and see what it is. The other day, I was in the middle of telling y'all something that I thought was exciting, and I got sidetracked right in the middle of it. So I'm going to tell you about that right now. And hopefully, I won't get sidetracked while I'm telling you. An old friend had gotten in touch with me last week and had told me that she was interested in helping me get my art business up and running again. I haven't really been in the art world now since Jared passed. And other than some works that I still had in galleries that I just left after he passed. But she wants to build my webpage, and she wants to help me get all the legal parts back up and running, and build a presence online so I don't have to sell through a gallery if I choose not to. And I told her, I said, well, Tammy, I said, the only way that I will accept that offer is if you let me pay you, because she had already told me that, no, she wouldn't accept any money. So she said, I tell you what, she said, I'd love to have a small painting from you. And so that's our agreement. I'm going to give her a small painting, or do a small painting for her of her scene of choice, person of choice, animal of choice, whatever it is she wants. And she's going to help me get my business up and running. And so far this week, I have found my EIN, which is important. If any of y'all are, know about your federal, your little federal number that you get so that you can buy your supplies and everything without paying tax on it. Anything that you use for your business, that does save you a lot of money. Being able to buy your supplies and everything free of taxes, free of paying taxes on that end. And I've also written a new artist statement, and she has secured my domain name, which is actually the domain name that I had years ago. And it makes me really happy that it was still available, and it's just brushworks.com. So when we get it up and running, if y'all want to check out my new webpage, that's what the name is now, but it's not up and running for a while. But it is brushworks.com. And yeah, I think that's it. It might be mountainbrushworks.com. I'll have to look back and remember for myself. But anyway, so that was what I was in the process of telling y'all about when I got sidetracked and couldn't remember what I was telling you. These senior moments are getting old, you know, don't you think? All right, I'm going to turn you around. Let's go down here and give these beans a little fertilizer. And hopefully, you can see how weedy the potato rows are. But Hugh's been what he calls graveling some. I don't know what y'all grew up, but there's potatoes mostly out through there, and they're pretty. Nice little potatoes. And Martha, you can see that Hugh's using the bench to pick beans in here. I have another. I actually ordered myself one, not realizing that I had one in the basement, but the one in the basement had belonged to either my mother or mother-in-law. So we have two. Yay. All right. Let's just go along through here and pour this out. I don't know how much it's going to take. Hopefully not everything I have left. I think I'm just pouring it on. I'm just pouring it on top of that plastic. Well, no, it'll go through the plastic. Look here. I've already got some shellies that need to be grabbed for the bean seed, because we have decided that we would go ahead and sell seed, because apparently the greasy cut short beans, which is what these are, is somewhat hard to find seed for. I bet I'm shaking you girls all to pieces. But anyway. Alright, looks like I made it about a third of the way down a roll. So each roll is going to take 3 gallons. I guess that's not bad. And here's the beans. That's what they look like. And the cool thing, look at all the blooms still coming on. We're just going to have plenty for a good long time. If I keep them watered, and Hugh, bless his heart, he comes down here every morning and evening, and I was helping him, but then I keep getting sidetracked and getting busy with other jobs, and he doesn't seem to mind that I'm not with him, but he comes down here and takes care of the Japanese beetles, and he's still getting about a cupful off of them every day. But you can see it's worked, because if it had not, that whole patch right there would really look ragged and I don't know, just sparse, because they would have eaten so many of the leaves. They eat the middle out of the leaves and leave just the veins. It's pretty incredible the damage they do. But so these beans have not had the first bit of any kind of pesticide or any kind of chemical put on them at all. And that's pretty intense. Yay. But he sure has worked his little self to death. He did tell me, I think that there's places where the greasy beans in our county even are selling for $80 a bushel. And I told Hugh, I said, there is no way that I would pay $80 a bushel. And so he said, well, put them on for whatever you think they'll bring. And so I put them on for $60 a bushel, not realizing how much work he was going to have involved. And he told me after a couple of days of picking beans, because they do take a long time to pick. They're a much smaller bean than like a white half runner or a blue lake. He said next year, he said, I won't grow them unless I can get $80 a bushel for them. And see, they're turning yellow at the bottom. I'm not sure if that's just that time of year, or they do need a little bit of fertilizer. I know that Hugh's daddy never fertilized the beans a second time, but the reason was because we got all the beans that we needed. Let me go this way. We got all the beans that we needed off of the first 2 pickings. We weren't interested in picking, you know, a 5th or 6th time. So there was never any reason to fertilize them. Beans, of course, create their own nitrogen source, but they do need other nutrients. I did a excuse me, girls. I did a little research yesterday to see if, you know, it was necessary to fertilize beans. And what I found was, if you want them to continue producing, it is a good idea to go ahead and fertilize them, give them some nutrients. So that's what I'm doing. We'll see how long they produce. Next year, I'll start this a little bit earlier, because I may have actually overshot my window to fertilize them, since the bottoms are getting so yellow. But that's okay. I think he was tired of picking beans. Oh, gracious. Life is just one big learning curve. What do y'all think? What are y'all learning? What are you learning that you enjoy doing, that you never thought that you would enjoy doing? And what are you finding out that you don't like, that you always thought that you would? Do you not think that life continues to be just a learning curve? It is for me. And I think part of that is because, you know, as we get a little older and our physical abilities change a little bit, we're finding that things that we thought we would always be involved in doing, maybe things that hurt a little bit more, take a little more energy than we have. But anyway, that's one of the reasons that I just reevaluated where I am and decided that I want to spend my next years absolutely gardening, because I know that I love gardening. I'll never give this up. But not gardening as a career choice. I'm going to let Aaron and Corey concentrate on doing that. And I'm going to concentrate. I got a weed eater going down there. I'm going to concentrate just on my art business and just creating beautiful gardens for our own personal use, and lots of flowers still, because I enjoy growing the flowers. So I've told Aaron and Corey that they can sell out of my garden whatever, you know, is above and beyond what I'll put up for our winter stores and whatnot. So I'll be growing for them to sell, but not for me. And I won't feel any pressure that way to produce. And next year, I hope I'll have my life organized in such a way that my time makes more sense. My summers are freer to do what I love in the garden. And of course, honestly, I won't take full blame for my garden getting ahead of me, because I did have COVID in March, and it took me a long while to get past that, to have energy. And then I ripped that calf muscle, I think about I don't know, the latter part of April maybe. But that was extraordinarily painful, and it has taken a long time to recover from that. So there's been a lot of setbacks, and that's actually one of the reasons that I also just reevaluated where I needed to be spending my time. So in thinking about it, I thought, you know, I love gardening, but I don't need to use gardening as an income potential. I need to use gardening as just personal family canning modality, and just for the joy of it. But my income producer, and also because I love it, will be the artwork. That's something that I don't think a torn calf muscle will keep me from doing. So I don't know. It's important to set our priorities, girls. It just is. Not sure what I don't think that's a weed eater. I don't know what they're doing down there. Sawing something. But anyway, I think I'm going to just hang this up for now. You guys have watched me fertilize beans long enough. That's just not an interesting video. But I do love y'all. I hope that your Saturday is spectacular, and I will be doing a little short later on with my flower vase. I want you to see my zinnias that I pull out of down the lower garden. Okay, love y'all. Have a wonderful Saturday. Oops, and I overran my jug because it got distracted, and I think I'm just gonna have to set it down for just a minute. I will, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.